Welcome to our Sage Intacct coffee break demo for property development. My name is Cooper Mundell and I'll be your host today. I'm thrilled to have you join us for this short, sharp session designed to give us a taste of Sage Intacct and how it transforms financial management for property developers. We've put together a presentation we love and we hope you do too. Here's how today's session will run. We've got a 40-minute presentation lined up. We'll start with a quick introduction and overview. Then Andrew Casey, our product expert, will take you through a demonstration of Sage Intacct. And finally, we'll wrap up with a question and answer session. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat as we go. Like I said previously, I'm Cooper Mundell and I'll be your host today. We are very fortunate to be joined today by Andrew Casey, our Sage Intacct specialist for property developers. Andrew brings deep product knowledge and industry insight, and he'll be showing you exactly how Sage Intacct can help streamline your financial operations. A bit about leverage technologies. Property development is a core industry focus for leverage technologies. In fact, we are a proud sponsor of the Australian Property Developers Association. We're proud partners of technology vendors SAP, MYB, and today's topic of discussion, Sage. This year is an important milestone where leverage turns 20. With offices in Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane, we're well positioned to support property developers across Australia. Now a little bit about Sage. Sage Intacct is a cloud-based financial management solution built specifically for industries like property development, property management, and real estate. Some fun facts about Sage. Sage is supported by a network of 10,800 colleagues across 19 different countries with a large focus on ANZ. In FY24, Sage reported over £2 billion in recurring revenue. And Sage is trusted by over 2 million customers globally. Here's what we'll be showing you in today's demo. 4 key capabilities that make Sage Intacct a powerful solution for property developers. Real-time financial visibility, streamlined billing and payments, powerful reporting and dashboards, and multi-entity system integration. Before we get into the demonstration, I would like to briefly talk about some industry trends. We surveyed many of our new customers that are in property development and asked them, how did you find the move to the cloud? And here were their answers. First, real-time operational visibility means you can see exactly what's happening across your projects, entities, and finances. Second, simplified multi-entity reporting is a game changer. Whether you're managing trusts, joint ventures, or multiple developments, Sage Intacct makes it easy to consolidate and report across entities. Third, enhanced collaboration and accuracy. With cloud access, your finance team, project managers, and external advisors can work from the same data. Finally, modern financial management. Sage Intacct is built for today's property developers with automation, integration, and scalability that legacy systems just can't match. Before we get into some success stories, it is time for a demonstration of Sage Intacct for property developers. I will now hand over to Andrew Casey, who will take us through a demonstration of Sage Intacct.
Thank you, Cooper, for that introduction, and welcome everyone to this live presentation of Sage Intacct for property developers. I'm Andrew Casey and I'll be your host for this session. Most of what I'm going to show you today will be balanced around the dashboard that you're seeing here. Sage Intacct has a high degree of capability, a lot of information that you can put into it, but it's the ability to bring that information to the user's notice that is a key feature of this application. So I'm looking here at a role-based dashboard, and there are a number of dashboards within the application, and I'm looking at it as a global view from a CFO's perspective. So when I have a look at these revenues for the overall business and services, for example, I'm looking at it for all of the entities in the business. Sage Intacct is a multi entity solution. So if I open this up to show all the entities, you'll see that in this demo system, I have a global system that has US companies, Canadian, UK, Australian companies, South African companies. I have more than a dozen companies set up. There is no practical restriction for you to be able to look at how many companies that you want to set up or how many entities you want to set up on your business system. In Australia, we have companies running 250 entities. Globally, there's a company that's currently running 400 entities, all on the one instance of Sage Intacct. So when I look at this data here, I'm looking at it from a total business perspective. I can turn around and open one of these other entities. Here's the Australian one that I opened a little earlier. And you'll see that the total revenue and services revenue are completely different. And my EBITDA and margins, G&A expenses, they're all going to be different because I'm looking at it on the basis of, is it the company as an entire business, head office level that I'm looking at, or am I looking at it on an entity basis? When I do look at this data, I'm able to actually analyze it by changing the date that I want to look at it from. I'm able to look at it from a grouped company, global locations, North American locations, specific entity. I'm able to look at it from the basis of the projects that we're doing. So I might have fixed fee projects or billable projects, build projects, etc. These filters are in the background behind this screen where you can turn around and specify the filters that you want to utilize. Now, I'll just take the project out so it's clearer for you. So as you can see, I have ticked department and location and taken project out. So once I save that, then the option to have a look at projects has now gone, but I could switch them on and off. Now, what I'm looking at when I look at that list is I'm looking at what are called dimensions within Sage Intacct. So you have a straightforward chart of accounts, but for every transaction, you can have mandatory or optional dimensions that are attached to every single transaction. That means you can turn around and slice and dice your data by customer, by supplier, by employee, by department, by project. You have user-defined ones available to you. You have what we call a class, which is one we often use for any purpose that you feel like. We simply rename it for your requirement. So you're able to see all of the information relating to this particular business, this particular entity. One of the aspects of that is, well, what about if we want to consolidate those particular entities or groups of entities? Can we have consolidation? Absolutely. Go in and set up as many books as you like, where you can specify, I've done it so I've got a residential set of companies, and commercial companies, government companies. I've also have my non-US locations. They can overlap. They can have a specific currency that they consolidate into. But when you have those particular entities, you simply set up which entities I'm going to consolidate, and Sage Intacct creates all the elimination accounts for you. And you just then go in when you're ready and say, okay, I want to run my consolidation, and you specify which consolidation you want to run, and it will list all of the companies that it's going to run, excuse me, in that consolidation. Further to that data, I'll just use my favorites and go back to my global view. You can go into the detail behind every one of these reports, because each of them is whilst it's a widget on my screen, it's also a report that I can drill into. And obviously, as you would appreciate, when you have anything that is hyperlinked, you can then go into the detail completely behind it, back down to the source transaction that caused this particular detail. That's a consolidation entry, for example. So let me just close back out of there. And when I do, I'm back at my data. I also can have a dashboard for cash analysis. So here I'm seeing my operating cash flow, my investing cash flow, which obviously is a different set of numbers, as is my financing, and then what my cash balance is. Seeing the cash balances over the different entities that I'm dealing with, how the cash flow is running, obviously drill into it as well. What's my projection for cash for today? I can also use what are called statistical accounts, so that I, as a property developer, I might want to know how many apartments I'm building, how many apartment buildings I'm building, how many houses I'm preparing blocks of land for. Whatever your requirement is, what do you want to measure? Do you need to measure how many apartments are leased? How many are ready for lease and not yet filled? So you can create statistical accounts. You can have a look at what your loans are, what your property units are. These are all user defined. And then when I go to my manager real estate dashboard, again, another dashboard. By the way, you can build these dashboards yourself. We have a number of them as a library. You can go in and just create your own dashboards as you need. But now I'm looking at a schedule of my real estate. So I'm looking at the parent properties, the address, the type of project it is, how many units, square footage, square meters, American data here, when we acquired it, what the loan was, what the outstanding amount is, the current interest rate, who it's from, what's our rent look like, what's our operating expenses. All of that information is held within Sage Intacct for you. And those values, like the number of square footage and the number of units, they obviously are not financial values, they are statistical values. So you put them in the statistical analysis. Going back to my main application and having a quick look at projects. So behind it all, there is a full set of menus and detail around how you transact to bring the information that we're seeing on the dashboards. So let me go into projects for the moment and have a look at a given project. Now this is from a property developer project basis as opposed to a construction project. So you'll see if I open this one, for example, when I go into construction management in a little bit, you'll see a difference in the number of headings. So over here, I have the ability to specify what the project is, what the project type is. Anytime you see add, view, find, you can change and add your own criteria. So I've got a bunch of criteria in there. I can specify what the apartment is, when I expect to have it, where it's positioning, where are we up to on it, and then some information around that one. I can identify based on billings how much we have completed of the project from a percentage wise, but I can also do an observed percent complete. So in this case, I've spent 97% of the dollars all the time, but I've only actually recorded that I've done 85% of the work. So there's obviously something for me to keep an eye on and work on where I'm at to with this project to make sure we don't overrun. I can see the resources that I'm using on the project, the hourly rates, whether there's any expenses and cost plus situations, get a complete summary, see what my build is, what my revenue is, costs, labour, my net income at the moment, and where I'm at time-wise, dollars-wise. The tasks that I have in this particular case, it's a relatively simple one. I'm doing the development. I'm using a subcontractor to do the actual build, okay? And then if there was an estimate, what that estimate details were. So from within that is the basic information within the standard Sage Intacct, and you can go into six things as order entry and have a look at your revenue schedules. You can see that we're expecting to spend money in a particular area. And so if I go and have a look at this particular one, I'll be able to see the data around it, the project fee, the training in this particular case. I have a revenue recognition template. So if I have a look at that, I have a schedule that says we're going to bill $2,500 a month, but we can actually only recognise it over in this case, a straight line situation. And you can see here 30th of the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. And so it's actually going to spread my revenue out over the duration of the contract. And that means that we're going to be able to do the billing today, but then recognise the revenue. We could do the same thing with our accounts payable as well, of course. So we might have an insurance bill that we want to spread over the life of the project. So whatever you do here, you have a whole load of ability to go in and see all of the information around what transactions create what sort of reports. Put in highlights, put in colour recognition, so identifying where we're over budget, seeing the detail around how the business is operating. Also, as a business, the Sage Intacct application is open to integration to any other application. So, for example, as a property developer, you might want to use Released or a similar application to list those developments that you generate. And the Intacct application is what's called an open API, open application programming interface, and it will allow you to interface to products like this and bring that information. The detail here becomes important that you can use those statistical accounts, because that's where some of the data that's in Released will be statistical, and it will enable us to do all of that reporting. Now, that for a majority of property developers is sufficient functionality. Looks a quick overview today, so don't worry if you haven't seen everything you want to see. This is just to try and bring in a real brief introduction for you. But for many property developers, that's sufficient for the business. There are, however, a number that actually move into the construction side of things. So I'd just like to spend a little bit of time here to introduce you to the construction version. It adds all of the functionality that you have seen so far, and then this is added to it. So in this particular instance, I'm looking at a project database, and you can see, if I go to the top here, you can see that I'm looking at my project revenue, my project costs. How many active jobs do I have going in each of the divisions? Again, this is at the top level. And if I drill down into my Gold Coast branch, then I'm having a look at the 4 active jobs in Gold Coast. Now I can see the original, look at my project overview here. I can see the original contract, what approved changes have occurred, and therefore what's the new contract total. What budget or estimate did I have against it, and therefore what's my gross profit and in dollars and percentages. Then there's my commitments, purchase orders I've raised where I'm expecting bills to come in, bills that I've sent to a customer, and what my total costs are, and therefore what my true gross profit will be, and my profit margins. So a whole load more information now around projects. If I drop into the project application that we were just looking at a second ago, and I have a look at this Quick Bowls Portland, this happens to be a restaurant. So you can see that, again, these is where the differences can be for the nature of your business. So are you doing a school? Are you doing commercial, residential? In this case, it's a restaurant, for example. And if you look up the top there, you'll see there's a whole load more tabs available to me that are with relation to the contract side of things, the construction business. So I've got scope details, I've got schedule details, I've got all my project retentions that occur from a construction information. I might have user-defined fields over here. Again, I have my percentage complete and what's working and so on. And then I can see all of the resources that I'm going. And of course, they're different. Now I'm doing the concreting, but I get someone else to subcontract all of the other work. So when I look at my project summary, I'm able to see my material costs, labour costs, equipment costs, other costs, subcontract, overheads, billings, and therefore the margin. So a lot more information here specifically for the construction industry. Pages of information on setting up all of the general requirements, your permits, your insurance, your surveys, and then your concreting, your masonry, going through into the actual electrical finishes, earthworks, all of those functions that are there. They're all in progress at the moment, and they may have been attached to an estimate in the first place. So we can go in and see the actual estimate. Again, most of the work is subcontract, but some of it's our labour, as you can see here, 359 hours of labour for me. Additionally, I can see the information about, I mentioned those purchasing contracts where I've got purchase orders outstanding, so I can see what the original is, whether there's retentions to be held on those. So it's not just me or my client wanting me to hold retentions, it's me holding retentions on my supplier. And then we get into variation control, because they have to go through and we have to run variations over the project. So you can have variation sets, you can have information around what the variation was, how much we cost us, what markup we gave it, and what retention might be on that as well. And so all of that information that applies to a construction management company is available to you. So a lot of data, an absolute lot of data. Part of that as well is the need to potentially have more detailed reports. So within the construction version, you have the dashboards, you have all of the reporting capability that the standard Sage Intacct has, but you also have the custom report writer. And so here you'll see that I'm breaking up by project, by possibly a sub-project, then by task, all of the estimates, the actuals and the variances by material, by subcontract. Go down to one that has something in it, materials, subcontract, labour, others, overhead. And you can start to see where, because we've used highlighting again, you can start to see where we're losing money. We estimated $1,100 for fees and it's coming at $65.90. We're down $54.90. So all the way through, our concreting is blowing out by $48.14. Data, data, data. So within the actual application, it brings you everything you want for the nature of your business. As you work through a project, you might be doing, say, purchase orders, and then you're specifying, well, is it a standard purchase order, or is it a change order, or is it a subcontract change order? You can see the menu as well as I can. All of this functionality that's available in the actual application. That, again, can be integrated, and a lot of our customers use Procore, for example, where Sage has already done, Procore have already done a Sage Intacct construction connector. They've brought the data together into the application. Okay, so very brief look. Apologies that I went to a bunch of places for you there, but you can see the type of information that's available. When I went into the construction side, you started to see some of the detail in the background, but it all comes up into these dashboards for you and links to those other third-party applications. I've had to run through it quickly today, but if any of what we've shown is of interest to you, to your business, we'd be very happy to arrange a discovery appointment with you and a personalised presentation in more depth as appropriate to your business. For the moment, that's me for this morning. Thank you, Cooper. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for presenting. That was very, very insightful stuff. I'm just going to go back and present some slides to finish up. I'm just going to wrap up with a quick few stories. So first of all is Spire Group, a specialist property company, reducing their month-end consolidation time from 5 days to just 1 using Sage Intacct. They now spend less time wrangling spreadsheets and more time improving their business. Parrots Group is an Australian family office managing over 100 active property projects. They implemented Sage Intacct across 14 entities in just 4 months, and now deliver monthly reports in just 1 day, down from a full week. I was personally in charge of this case study and worked closely with the Parrots Group throughout their journey. For the case study interview, there was a full boardroom of stakeholders who had nothing but great things to say about leverage technologies and Sage Intacct. Thanks again for joining us today. If you'd like to learn more, book a personalized demo, or chat about how Sage Intacct could work for your business, feel free to reach out. We'll also be sending up a follow-up email with resources and contact details. Thank you so much again. It's now time for question and answers. Some of the questions we are asked regularly include, what's next for Sage Intacct in terms of innovation or new features? Sage continues to invest in AI-driven insights, deeper industry verticals, and enhanced automation for finance teams. Another question we are often asked is, can you tell us how much Sage Intacct costs? And it's a great question. The answer is actually quite complex. Pricing for Sage Intacct depends on several factors, including the number of entities you manage, the modules you need, and how your business operates day to day. Because it's a highly configurable solution, we would need to do a deeper dive into your specific requirements to give you an accurate estimate. Well, thank you again. That's it for today. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.